All right. So I was thinking about starting a podcast and talking about what it's like to, I guess, manage, arrange, put together everything and anything when starting a band, or not necessarily just starting, but I guess keeping together. Um, I've been doing this for almost 26 years now, 26 years plus, and it's been one heck of a ride. I gotta tell you that. Um, it's not easy to put certain individuals all together, keep them together, and all have everybody have a good day all the time and have fun all the time. It's been rough. There's been ups and downs, um, but I'm thinking of starting this little podcast to help anybody out there who thinks or doubts or thinks I can't necessarily do a band or make a band and this and that. Not only do I particularly manage the band, I go through everything. Um, I'm the one who pays the taxes, um, does the booking, talk to certain people, giving prices, signing contracts, cashing checks, etc. So um, it's a process. I'll tell you that much. It's a process. Aside from that, mostly I'm not gonna say completely, but mostly the one who picks the songs, works on the songs. It's kind of hard for our lives outside of performing and stuff. It's kind of hard to do the, I guess you would say, practice portion of it. Practice is very important. I'm not gonna say it's not, but it's still hard and to balancing into the schedules of the everyday life, unless that's all you do. And you're young, you don't have a family, you don't have kids or stuff like that. I think in that sense it's a little bit easier. But once you have kids and your daily job, it's kind of difficult to work around it. So I guess the best way to start is, are you really committed? I guess that's the first question you should be asking yourself. Are you going to be really committed to this thing? If it's only something you're going to be doing towards your convenience, and the biggest mistake a lot of people do is you're only going to do it because of the money. If you're only going to do it because of the money, I'm going to tell you right now, stop. Because you're going to be thrown into situations where you're just going to be focusing on that. Is it worth the money? Is it worth the trouble? Is it worth it's so many things. So I'm just letting you know, if it's completely about the money, don't even start it, because you're gonna run into bigger problems. Especially when you're not performing, just by yourself. If you're gonna be performing with other people, friends, whatever it may be, your other fellow musicians. Um, it is a little bit difficult to just go in there thinking about the money. So, first and foremost, you have to think about why you are really doing this. And your answer should be for the enjoyment of the music. Now, it could be a cover band, it could be an original band, whatever it may be. It doesn't necessarily have to be your own music. But if you really, really enjoy what you're doing, then you don't really have to worry about uh, the money portion of it. The money portion will fall into play. As long as you enjoy what you are doing, the money portion will fall into play. Now, getting back to the 26 years, it's hard to keep up with so many things. And I've had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. I actually had a couple of my brothers. They were the ones who started doing all the, I guess you would call, management role. They were the ones that started talking to people and getting all the gigs and details, where we're gonna be at, what time we gotta be there, how much we're gonna get paid, who's gonna get paid, what are we gonna perform, and there's a lot of things that go into that. First of all, when you're starting the band, you have to make sure, again, commitment. Commitment is if not the biggest thing. I think from any standpoint, you have to be committed to what you're going to be doing, because is if you go sign up for a gig and you promise yourself for a gig, and then a day before the gig somebody backs out or says, you know what, I can't make it, something came up, it's always going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, there's no going to be perfect ban for situations like that not to happen. So it's going to happen. Out of the 26 years that we have been performing together, doing this together, I think I've only had to cancel for myself one gig. I think that's it. Reason being because I caught COVID. And aside from that, that's it. I've been sick as a dog. I've missed birthdays, gatherings, parties, date night, etc. because of the commitment that I do. So you're providing a service, and that's how committed it has to be. Now, if you're smart about this, sometimes, you can schedule certain events, look at your calendar, and say, you know what, for this week I'm not gonna be taking a gig because I have one of my kids' birthdays parties coming up. So plan ahead, and this is very crucial. Plan ahead, because you could have a special event or occasion coming up on this day, and the following week maybe one of your other band members has something coming up. So then you start creating a trend where, well, I can't make it, and then he can't make it, and then they can't make it, and then now completely everything is gone. And then you start getting into this discussions of, well, you couldn't make it last week, and now I can't make it this week, so why is it a problem? And I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen. It's the nature of the beast, I guess you would call it, especially if you're the one managing pretty much the whole circus, as I like to call it, because pretty much that's what I do. I tend to try to advise everybody as best as I can ahead of time when we're booked for a certain performance or anything else coming up. I try to always be proactive in getting them a heads up, because there's certain events that we can't avoid, or certain events that we really want to do, so we all have to make that little sacrifice and make the time. And again, that comes all back to the commitment. If the commitment is not there, it's going to be very difficult. So aside from telling each other, you're really cool the way you play, and I think you're awesome, and yes, you could have very, very, very talented musicians, singers, drummers, bass players, guitarists, whatever, keyboardists, even violinists, whatever it could be. If the commitment is not there to say that, you're going out of your way, making time out of your schedule to take this next gig coming up, I think I want to do the same. So that's pretty much what I'm getting at, is that you have to have that same commitment, that same promise to each other, that you're going to do that, because you're going to start seeing that you're going to develop into, slowly but surely, a family. Because if you're the type of band that likes to showcase or perform every weekend, that's going to be your family weekend. So you're going to get, you're going to be seeing these guys pretty much, and gals, every weekend. Okay, every weekend. It could be, maybe just 2 weekends out of the month, whatever it may be, because the following weekend, maybe you guys don't perform, but then you're going to practice. So practice and getting the gigs together, two completely different things. Just be careful, because you can reach a point where you can burn out. And that's the reason for this podcast that I'm trying to start. So you can see, nothing flashy. I'm in the garage right here. I'm just recording whatever I can. The point of this podcast is to give information. Information if you want to start a band and you think you can handle managing everything. I'm going to tell you right now, it is possible. It is very difficult. It is very time consuming. But that's why I'm here. I based on my 26 plus years that I have been doing this, I plan to make more videos and go into detail as far as obtaining gigs, talking to bookers, managers, whoever does the booking at the venue that you're gonna be performing or wanting to perform at. Pricing, what should you do with as far as a venue that wants to get you maybe on a weekly basis or twice a month basis. In the difference when you get a private gig, that's when I'm gonna tell everybody that you are easily gonna make more money at a private event, scheduling or booking a private event, than a venue that wants you every week or every month or whatever. You cannot charge the same pricing at a venue that wants you weekly than at a private party. And again, I will go further into detail as far as what can be explained, what could be used, tips and tricks that I've learned over all these years. I've had some nasty downfalls. Okay, I've had some really bad setbacks, but it's grown in me and shown me experience. Now I know better how to approach people when trying to book a certain gig, how to place a value on the product that we present or we bring. And more than anything, do not downgrade yourself. This is a talent that you're offering as a service. And if there's a venue out there or a booker who says, well, I'm not going to pay you that because it's too much money or whatever the case may be, just remember that before you take that $100 cut just to get the gig, make sure you're valuing the time that you're spending to do this. Because when they tell you, oh, you're going to be playing just, for 2 hours, it's not really 2 hours, because you have to probably get there at least an hour ahead of time to set up. Okay, so let's give a quick example. You're going to be leaving, you're going to have a gig tonight from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., 2 hours. So they say, oh, 2 hours, piece of cake. Not really, because you're going to have to start getting ready by put around 5:30, getting your maybe equipment loaded, getting yourself ready as well and everything. Now, if you're going to be getting at a venue to start at 8 p.m., guess what? You're probably going to have to be there around 7 p.m., 7:15 to start setting up. So that means you're going to have to leave your house probably about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30, depending on how far the venue is. So then you arrive at your venue, then you still have to find the person to talk to who booked you and see exactly where you're going to be connected. Make sure you have all those, your power outlets, everything you need in order to get started on the gig and everything. By the time you set up, it's probably going to be, did your sound check and everything, it's probably going to be about 7:30, 7:45. Then you probably need time to change if you're taking any other type of, anything type of wearing that you're going to be, specifically for the gig. Then the breakdown, of course, once you're finished at 9 o'clock, it's not pack up and let's go. You have to put away all your equipment. You have to go and find the person who's going to be paying you for the gig. If you got to chase them around and everything, make sure everything's loaded. And then again, you go back home and you start unloading. So what was apparently supposed to be a 2-hour gig typically will turn into about a 4-hour, maybe 5. Because that's counting the time that you're using to get ready, to load your equipment, unload, set up, do your sound check. And when you're finished, pack everything up, load it up, and come back home, probably unload it again if that's what your case. In this case, that's what I pretty much do. So again, this podcast will be based on more information coming like that. If you have any questions, specifics, or anything specifically that you would like me to cover going into, drop a line in the comments. Let me know any specific area of booking or performing, whatever the case may be. Go ahead and drop a question in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer it. And again, follow along this podcast. I think it would be something useful, especially for not a big band type of ordeal. This is something more like concentrated in locally. We are trying to expand as we are right now, but we have been performing in this same city for almost 26 years plus, and I just want to share my information with everybody else. If any doubts or anything like that, I will give you the honest answer to something maybe somebody really doesn't want to tell you the truth of, that it's too hard to do, or maybe too easy, or maybe something you shouldn't do. All right, so follow us along, and again, I'll give you some more information as we go up. Thanks for watching.